When an actor takes on the role of a real historical figure, the trap is already set. If they lean too hard into the voice and posture, it becomes a sketch comedy impression. If they play it too safe, the performance feels completely hollow. Gary Sinise consistently threads this needle. He built a career out of taking on dense, grounded roles, from the battle-hardened Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump to the intensely stoic astronaut Ken Mattingly, the real-life command module pilot from the Apollo 13 lunar mission. The empirical proof of his success is sitting on his mantle. For his stage and screen work, he has won a Regional Theatre Tony Award, a Primetime Emmy, a Golden Globe, and secured an Academy Award nomination. How exactly does an actor build such a precise methodology for capturing the essence of real people? The answer isn't found on a glossy Los Angeles studio backlot. It was forged in a scrappy Chicago basement in the 1970s. In 1974, a 19-year-old Sinise, along with his friends Terry Kinney and Jeff Perry, founded the Steppenwolf Theatre Company in Chicago. Steppenwolf is an ensemble-based theater company, meaning the actors collaborate to run the entire production process from the ground up. The Steppenwolf ethos demanded raw, high-risk performances. Rather than leaning on glamour, the group focused heavily on deconstructing human behavior, working collectively to build characters that felt violently real. That intensity paid off early. In 1983, Sinise directed and starred in a production of Sam Shepard's True West, earning an Obie Award, a prestigious honor given for off-Broadway and independent theater achievements. He eventually took this stage-tested intensity to the screen. In the 1992 film adaptation of John Steinbeck's classic novel Of Mice and Men, Sinise cast himself as the pragmatic farmhand George Milton, while simultaneously directing and producing the entire picture. By stepping behind the camera, Sinise proved he possessed a structural understanding of narrative. He knew how to arrange the pieces of a story to serve the characters, rather than just waiting for a director to tell him where to stand. Steppenwolf taught him to be an architect of behavior. He walked away with a comprehensive blueprint for constructing a personality from the ground up, preparing him for the massive historical portrayals that lay ahead. By the late 1990s, Sinise textual method to the ultimate test by playing two diametrically opposed political figures within 2 years of each other. First, he tackled Harry S. Truman. In a 1995 television film, Sinise channeled the unassuming underdog energy of the 33rd U.S. president, a performance that earned him a Golden Globe Award. 2 years later, he pivoted to play the controversial Alabama governor George C. Wallace. This portrayal of a fiercely divisive Southern politician won him a Primetime Emmy Award. To capture Wallace, Sinise completely modulated his physical posture and speech cadence. He abandoned the quiet restraint of Truman and adopted a fiery, bombastic populism, shifting his gaze to match Wallace's aggressive public persona. This radar chart maps out the extreme psychological polarity between the two roles. On one side, we see Truman scoring high in restraint and quiet persistence. On the opposite side, Wallace spikes in volatility and bombastic populism. A single actor stretched to embody both extremes perfectly. He accomplished this because his raw Steppenwolf training gave him the tools to reverse engineer their souls. He bypassed shallow mimicry and built both men from their deepest psychological motivations outward. That reputation for grounded gravity eventually allowed Sinise to anchor massive television franchises. For 9 seasons, he led the cast of CSI NY as the dedicated detective Mac Taylor, a character the writers even infused with Sinise's own traits. But his most famous fictional role transcended the screen entirely. The character of Lieutenant Dan Taylor, a combat veteran who loses his legs in the Vietnam War, resonated so deeply with real-world service members that it bled into Sinise's personal life. He founded the LT Dan Band, named directly after his character, and launched into decades of extensive humanitarian work. He has visited hundreds of military bases and hospitals worldwide, raising millions of dollars annually to build smart homes for disabled veterans. For his dual mastery of screen acting and his relentless humanitarian efforts, Sinise was inducted into the highest ranks of industry recognition, receiving a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2017. Gary Sinise prioritized the deep, honest character study of the stage over the pursuit of shallow celebrity. In doing so, he became a precise vessel for American history, and ultimately a lasting cultural icon in his own right.